Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my 27 weeks pregnancy update. Today, the Bump app says that the baby is the size of a head of lettuce, and the Ovia app says that the baby is the size of a bunch of bananas. And it also says that the baby is about 14.4 inches and is still weighing in around 2 pounds. So to start off this update, I wanted to share with you guys what the Bump app says that I should be experiencing this week. It says that I should be having the same leg cramps, back aches, constipation, and hemorrhoids. I actually have not had any constipation or hemorrhoids yet. And the leg cramps and back aches are definitely something that's been happening. It also says that my skin, hair, and there should be skin, hair, and nail changes. They might be growing thicker, faster, or they could be becoming more brittle. So I think that my nails may be getting slightly more brittle, but it's nothing too noticeable. Another thing that the Bump app says that should be happening this week is snissing. That is peeing when you sneeze, because the baby is putting a lot of pressure on your bladder. I have not had any of that yet, but I have felt like my bladder is slightly heavier. I mean, I'm not sure if that's the exact way I would explain it, but basically when I need to go pee, it just feels like pee may just fall out. So those were all of the symptoms that the Bump app says that I should be having. Now let's go ahead and get into some of the symptoms that I've noted myself. So one of the most noticeable newer symptoms that I've been experiencing this past week is a lot of hip pain. I feel like my hip bones are basically, it almost feels like they're just like stretching out, and I know it sounds a little bit strange, but it feels like sometimes they're like disconnecting, because I can kind of feel like what feels like bones just like moving in there almost. And then there's also one of my hips is actually feeling a little bit worse than the other one. So I'm starting to wonder if it has something to do with like sciatica nerve, which is something that happens to women during pregnancy. And I'm not really sure whether or not that's exactly what it is, but it's just kind of a pain in my hip, and like if I put too much pressure or when I'm walking, that hip in particular hurts quite a bit. So I'm definitely going to bring that up to my doctor. I have another appointment on Tuesday for my 28-week checkup, and I will talk to my doctor about that and let you guys know what she says. Or if you guys are experiencing the same thing, or if you have any experience with sciatica nerve, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. So another slightly newer symptom, I talked about this a little bit last week in last week's update, is that the baby has been hiccuping a lot. So for those of you who didn't see last week's video, basically I started feeling a lot of the, it's basically like a sensation of, I guess it feels like just basically like twitches in your belly. Just very small twitches, and they're kind of located in just one spot in your belly, depending on, I think, where your baby's head is located. And they're pretty just consistent and quick movements or twitches, basically. So I've been having, the baby's been having a lot of hiccups. I would say that he probably hiccups for about 5 minutes straight. Sometimes maybe it might be like a little bit shorter than that, like 2 or 3 minutes. And I would say he probably does that at least twice a day, pretty much every single day. So there's been a lot of that going on, and I actually did try and look that up, because I was wondering if that's a little too much for him to be hiccuping, like if there's some sort of something weird going on with that, because it just seemed like that wasn't quite normal to me. Although I don't really know what would have been normal, but when I looked it up, it actually said that it is totally normal, and it actually can be a good sign if your baby's hiccuping a lot, because it just shows that things are developing the way that they're supposed to. So another symptom that isn't quite new, I've been having this quite a bit, but it has been much more noticeable this past week, is pregnancy brain. I feel like I have struggled so much this past week with almost like tongue, is it called like tongue tie or tongue twisters or something like that? When basically like your brain can't catch up quite enough with when you're talking. I don't know if that even made sense. This is what I'm talking about, pregnancy brain. I've had such a hard time actually articulating full sentences this past week. It just seems like my brain is not coming up with the words quick enough for me to actually form a sentence. So that's been something that I've just been struggling a lot with this past week, and it's actually been pretty frustrating. And then another newer symptom is that I've been having a lot of sharp stomach pains, which I think are mostly, it's mostly like, I would say gas bubbles. And usually when I start to feel like those sharper stomach pains, if I just massage my belly a little bit, it kind of relieves a little bit of that pain. And then along with that, I have also been having much more leaky boobs this past week, like a lot more than they have in the past previous weeks. And I think I can recall that they started leaking around 20 weeks, and they really have never leaked all that much, but this past week it's definitely picked up quite a bit. And another thing that I forgot to mention that kind of goes along with the baby hiccups is just that the baby is, I feel like he's moving around quite a bit more in there, or at least his movements just feel a lot bigger than they did in previous weeks. As far as things that have basically just continued that are, you know, more noticeable symptoms are definitely the leg cramps, like the bump app suggested. Those have still been pretty intense, and I feel like they just get more and more intense every single week. And then round ligament pain, that has definitely been like a symptom that's been more noticeable this past week as well. And usually it only happens when I'm just rolling around in bed at night and trying to get comfortable, is when I feel like my stomach just like, those round ligaments just stretch so much, and it's pretty painful. And then the back pain has still not gone away. I'm still having a lot of lower back pain, and basically like mid back pain, kind of right where like your bra line would be. And so I've been trying to find ways to alleviate that, and doing like stretches and all kinds of different things. And I actually did go see the chiropractor. So I actually went to the chiropractor twice this past week. And they actually would like for me to go 3 times a week. The way that the chiropractor explained it to me is that you go often in the beginning, and then you kind of, as you start to like fix things and adjust your spine and everything like that, then you can go less often later. Well, the first visit that I had with the chiropractor, it was more like a consultation. So she kind of just explained everything to me, and she looked at my spine and like my shoulders and everything, and told me that things did look like they were pretty much not in line like they should be. and that we would just, you know, start working on that and everything. And so that first visit really didn't do a whole lot. And then when I went for the second time, they did do some adjustments to my back and everything by, you know, cracking my back and stuff like that. And for me, I feel like it was just too much on my body, especially being pregnant. I would say that if I wasn't pregnant, it probably would have been totally fine. But because I'm pregnant, it really just freaked me out quite a bit. So I don't know if it had more to do with the specific chiropractor, because I have been to a chiropractor before and I don't recall it being that forceful, basically. But for me right now, I think that I'm gonna have to figure out a different way to alleviate my back pain, because I don't think that that's gonna work out for me. It just kind of freaked me out a little bit too much. I know people who are probably pro chiropractor, you guys are probably thinking like, you know, they have to use a little bit of force and stuff like that, and I totally get it. I understand, and I know that the chiropractor knows what she's doing and everything like that. It's just that for me, it didn't feel quite right, and it just made me nervous. So I just think that I'm not gonna be doing that. All right guys, well that is actually all that I have for this pregnancy update. I do apologize if the lighting has been kind of going in and out a little bit. Again, I don't know how to fix that. So I'm sorry about that, but I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, as always, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. And make sure you guys are subscribed, that way you can follow along on my pregnancy journey. And I will go ahead and show you guys my baby bump now, and my, so the shirt that I'm wearing is actually one that I got at the very beginning of my pregnancy. So it's like, you can definitely tell that it's like not gonna fit for too much longer. And I got it at the beginning of my pregnancy. I got it in like, I think this is a large or an extra large. So, and my belly button has actually, there's like a piece of my belly button that has actually popped out just a little bit. So I will show you guys that, and I will see you in my next video.